absolutely.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
Good to see you. I've been worried about you. I know you've had some health issues.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing all right lately. We've actually been cracking down quite a bit, trying to get the token stuff done, and our friends getting our
Yeah.
games related with some tokens. Yeah.
So, uh, so you're working on your enterprise most of the time now. Huh? I mean,
Yes. I've actually been working personally on the trustless token idea quite a lot lately. That I was talking to you about, where that's come full fruition. A lot of things work with that now, and now deploying a token is simple as ever. And now it's branded under a namespace. So we're getting that all figured out, like how to use a token. And like Divi DAO is still one of my use cases, and
yeah.
you know,
Well, in a sense, here we're duplicating effort, in that
yeah,
I'm creating the Art Chain organization and the Digital Life organization, basically under the umbrella of Giveth.
yeah, I like it.
And the mini me token. And in terms of our trading contracts, I mean, have you seen Oasis decks?
No, I've checked out a few of the exchanges though. No, not Oasis.
Oasis decks does atomic trades on the blockchain. There's no what do you call it? Exchange. The blockchain is the exchange. It's pretty awesome. I mean, they don't do orders yet. I mean, if you put offers on there, you can accept, you can take an offer, you can put in an offer, you can take an offer. But you can't say, I want to buy 10 rocks. Okay. You can say, if somebody's selling 10 rocks, you can buy 10 rocks. You can't buy 9 or 11.
Oh, gotcha. Huh.
But it's pretty. And I mean, it's really cool. And I was talking, everybody was at IIW.
Okay, yeah, I watched that.
Okay, I met the Oasis Dex guys. I met the MetaMask guys. I met the Uport guys. And I wish I could remember people's names. And I'm really a lousy people person.
Yeah. I don't remember names well either. I've met too many people now.
So,
But try to get the camera picking me up a little better. What if I get out of the... Oh, there, get the sunlight out of my...
so in any case, and Kenny Rowe is in our chain, who's part of Oasis Dex crew. So I mean, that's a great basis for trading all the Ethereum stuff. And Internet of People, firmat.org, they're working with somebody who's building an atomic trading of all the different Bitcoin tokens. Okay, and which is really cool, but they have an API, and I don't know how you get in their club to call the API.
Right.
But if we provide, if we use the Oasis tax and this thing, which I can't remember the name of, I feel embarrassed. We can trade any cryptocurrency. It's on any Bitcoin-like network. Anything based on the Bitcoin code, they integrate into one atomic trading environment.
That's crazy. So they can take like counterparty tokens and like amps and all the other tokens and put them all together. Like one for another. Yeah, because they're all on Bitcoin. That's crazy.
Yeah. And, well, those are both on the Bitcoin network, but I'm talking about things that run on their own blockchain.
Oh.
Okay, as well. So you can trade IOP, which has its own blockchain. Okay, which is a pretty cool system. I mean, what they do is they take Bitcoin and they make it a lot easier to mine it, but they establish a trust network of miners.
Yeah.
And what it is somebody you become a miner for your town.
Yep.
Okay, and anyone in your town that wants to mine, they do it with you. You work it out. Okay, but each miner or each geographical area, in essence, is limited to how much they can mine.
Huh.
Okay, and so there's really no incentive to get fancy mining equipment.
Right, because it's not there's no greedy mining.
Yeah, you can make up to a certain amount depending on your geographical area, and that's well, you can make. They have it set up. You can make 3 times it.
Uh-huh.
You can make 3 times what is expected for your geographical area or whatever. But personally mining, you can do 3 times that value.
Gotcha. That's all right. I can cover all of Maine then. There's not many people up here doing anything in blockchain.
Yeah, well, you can claim Maine if it's not claimed already.
Oh, I'm on it.
Yeah, fermat.org. Join the Slack, claim Maine. I bought some IOP coin.
Did you?
The Internet of People is one of the identities that I want to integrate into bring your own identity because Daniel Jeffries is behind it from Cicada.
Yeah, I've heard of Daniel Jeffries. You said you met, well, speaking of identity, you said you met the Uport guys. Have you, first, well, we'll stay on Uport. Did you by any chance get the app so you can try out Uport?
I got the app immediately as soon as I was accepted for the alpha. It is awesome. And at the conference, I was able to share contact information.
Okay.
By showing my QR code.
Yeah, right. Well, if you ever get a few people you can sign up under you, send an email my way.
Yeah. Have you used the test programs at the developer hubs?
At Uport?
Yeah.
No, it requires me to get an app, and they're keeping the app secret for now.
Right, but when you sign up, they add you to the Google group, and then you can download it.
Nah, well, they're not telling me that anywhere. Really?
They're keeping it quiet. Well, they seem to have a problem.
Well, they shouldn't have.
Since the conference, it seems like it hasn't worked for me.
Okay.
Have you seen this beautiful thing that they did? Giveth did, the campaign deployer?
No. I've seen what PSDEF has been doing with them, though. Okay.
But you select the network you want in MetaMask.
We put it on our own network.
Okay. And, you can run your own. And
okay, so that must be a factory written right in the JavaScript. But cool, I like that.
Okay, and the thing is that when you choose mainnet or Robson, okay, which then you have to do a shift reload on the page, and it fills in all the proper values. My Ethereum address. Oh, my sender is not here. Oh, you know what I did? I changed networks. I have to sign into MetaMask.
Yeah, I'm used to MetaMask now. Have you used the Oregon tool?
No.
Oregon yet? They integrated MetaMask right into their DApp.
Nobody has to. If they're using Web3, they don't have to integrate MetaMask.
Well, what Oregon did was the way they packaged their DApp was in uh, an Electron container with Node.js running and MetaMask on top of it with the Oregon. So it's pretty much like Chromium with the MetaMask extension.
MetaMask runs it completely in the browser.
But with Electrum, like Electrum acts as the browser when they package it that way. That's all. They let us download like a tool instead of going to a DApp website.
Okay, so is it in the browser or not in the browser?
It's technically a browser because it is a browser, but it's not. You don't go to a URL to get to it. It's hard coded into the little app.
Okay, yeah. Well, you could, most of this stuff, most of these, a lot of these things we can save locally anyway. But yeah, that's interesting. But you see how I picked up my Ethereum address here for the sender?
Yeah.
And all I need to do is fill in the token name and symbol.
That's great. That's great.
Okay, and and you're fundraising. You just hit run deployment, and you have a token, and you have a mini me token, and you can sell it, and you can basically set all the stuff about it.
Yep, come in. Yeah, I love the mini me token. I love the Giveth model, and I understand a bit of the use case that you would want to make like a mock of the token so you can do like a vote real quick and not lock yourself up, maybe. And I think what I'm working on with the trustless registry, etc., it's not duplicating efforts. I think we're going in different directions, but when I want to converge again. I want to come into Giveth and show those guys what I've been doing. Pretty much, it's a brand registry. So you register a brand, and then when you register a brand, that puts up a factory. Okay, so your factory is where you make all your brand's tokens. You can register tokens. You can register other factories even after you register a brand, but it comes with a token factory.
How is that different from creating a factory?
Well, Mini Me Token does do a factory type thing.
So you deploy the factory, and then you can deploy tokens.
Exactly. You want to see a demonstration of it?
Well,
I can share my screen.
I've done that. Okay. That's the way you do it. You do the factory, and then you do the token. That's the way I made live Divi tokens on live Ethernet.
Exactly.
Okay, using the mini me factory. Actually, I didn't deploy the factory. I used a factory they deployed.
Right.
So that Divi token is really a child of Giveth, not our own. But yeah, I have in the test environment, I have deployed a factory and then deployed the token because that's how you have to do it.
Right. The ability to clone a token is an interesting functionality that I would love to add as a boolean to this token factory. If you want to make a mini me clonable token, that would be a great boolean to go ahead and check. So I don't understand the use case though for that kind of a token where you'd want to say, like I do understand a couple of them. One of them he mentioned, I was listening to Jordy, he mentioned voting would be one of the use cases. I kind of like that use case because now you can take a moment in time and say, okay, everybody that has tokens, we're going to make a snapshot and then everyone's going to get these other tokens exactly mirrored. And then we're going to have a vote with those tokens. I understand that use case. That's great. but I don't understand. I mean,
Well, you understand controlled contracts, right?
huh?
You understand controlled contract controller?
Yeah.
That lets you change the behavior of the contract after you launch it.
I haven't gotten into that. No.
Well, that's exactly what I wanted. I was thinking of using named contracts for that purpose.
Yeah, I've got some namespaces set up, and in fact, that's why I'm trying to make the token factory have a specification of brand name and then token name, so you can refer to the token with just a 2-word hierarchy, like trustless tokens or DiviDAO tokens.
All right. I wasn't going to show you the campaign deployer. It just happened to be up here. I was going to show you. I wasn't going to show you Oasis decks.
Yeah.
I guess I don't remember. But what we have on the agenda is putting
The natspec.
oh, I didn't read it. I didn't catch up here. The natspec and updating the membership contract.
Mm-hmm.
You remember this contract?
Yeah, I remember it. The identity register, yeah.
Oh, you asked me for the meeting ID.
I did, but then I went to the website and got it. I knew where to find it.
Okay. I'll stick it in there anyway.
Yeah, right.
In case anybody else.
Follow. Yeah, so basically, right now I'm trying to work on a profile system that has a level of roles and a staking mechanism built into it. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm kind of lost with it, to be honest with you, with the staking mechanism and how I actually wanted that to work. I have like pages and pages of notes that don't make sense one from the other, some of them.
So let's take a couple of minutes and just get started here and see if we can fix these things. Okay, the use case needs to be changed. I'm making some mappings here. So how should I comment these mappings to make this self-evident? I mean, wallet, receive, the fees. And I think I want to change this because the default wallet is here, which burns the ether.
Oh, you're coming in choppy, and I realize that you're probably hearing me choppy too.
Now, let me turn off my fan. That usually helps a lot. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay. What I was saying is when I have the wallet here and I create the contract, okay, the wallet address is 0, which means that if anybody signs up for the contract, if anybody sends ether to the contract, it gets burned. That's not a good thing because if you send it as 0, it gets burned, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to say equals wallet equals. Now, do I want to make it the contract?
Try to make it.
I'll just make it the message sender for now.
Right.
Okay, it probably should be. Well, let's see. So now it compiles and it's spelled message sender spelled wrong. So now when we create the contract, okay, I've got my address. That created the contract in the wallet value. Of course, I can always set the wallet here. You can post in another wallet address to have the funds send someplace else. Okay, wallet to receive. Okay, so the price. Okay, I set the price defaults to 1 Ether, and I can set the price. And and I guess all the getters are blue, and the setters are red. What's this price?
Set price.
The value of the price here.
That should be the 1 Ether. That should be the price.
It should be 1 Ether. But that's not. Okay.
Yeah, it is. It's 1 with 18 zeros.
It's 1. What's this value here?
That's just the hexadecimal of that big long 1 with 18 zeros. That the value is in hex and the decoded value is in decimal. Bumped up against that a few times last week.
So this shows all the zeros here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how many way there are.
That's the way units. Yeah, that's one of the things with this interface is all this, these interfaces knowing what to do. At least when you put in 1 Ether, it knows what you're talking about. We could have put this big number in there and not bothered to say it was Ether. Okay, so set to correct value before using. And this would be a notice. Now, does a notice have to be on its own line?
I'm not really sure. I haven't used notices.
This is the natspec. I have to read it, I guess, before I try to do it. In their examples, they.
Oh yeah, well, I've been following Jordy's. Hold on. Let me find Mini-Me token. I have that printed out right here somewhere. I've been following the way Jordy does it. There it is. All right, I got that right here. So he does, above every contract, he does a series of @ title, author, and dev notes. So yeah, I didn't even realize that the other @ functions were for notices and stuff. So yeah, notice.
We have notice and dev, and I forget.
Yeah. Parameter, return. There's a number of them.
Right. Param return. Yeah, that's what I was, looking at doing, was putting in notices, params.
Yep. It looks like he has a pattern of, sorry, I've just been adopting, because I saw this in Jordy's thing, and then I saw it come across, and then I learned of natspec, and I was like, oh, that's what Jordy was doing. And then I realized that it was right in the Giveth thing that I learned of it. So I'm like, great. So long story short, what he's doing, he's putting title, author, and dev notes above the contract definition, and notice parameters and return notes under it, like inside the code, like you're doing.
Okay, so, I mean, we have this image that goes over the things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Notice, dev, return. Which is pretty simple. But what I was looking for here was actually the URL. There's, the process. Essentially, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use this as an example of the process. Where is the natspec URL? I guess
the picture of it is right where we just talked in Slack. That's where I was.
Yeah, I found the picture. I guess what I'm looking for is the link. Damn it. I can't find the link. Don't tell me that the link has fallen off the natspec. Here's the picture. How do you like that? But we can just ask Google. Whoops.
It's natspec. You got an A in there. It's saying natspec. Oh, it is natspec. I thought it was netspec.
No.
Natural spec.
Okay, so I just want to put this URL in here. What I've done here, whoops, is I could swear I would lose this. Is all of the specs that a well-written Solidity program should need to follow. And the idea is to reward team members for bringing it up to the various specs or validating that it obeys the spec. Okay, so now I added the theory of natural specification format. We got the layout of source, the style guide, structure of a contract, the common pattern, and the security considerations. Okay, Ryan, welcome. So we were just looking at the Ethereum natural specification format using pragmas here to generate the documentation for the program, as well as make the programs readable. And in Giveth, Jordy and Griff have made their contracts exceptionally readable. And I guess part of that is using the natspec standard. And these are the other standards that we want our programs to live up to. I guess we lost Ryan. I mean, I can continue to bring this up to spec. It's got, it's way out of spec now in terms of all of these standards. And there's also the issue of fixing the program so that it'll handle the use cases as they have evolved since this was originally written. That's really an R-chain project. It's not really, it's something that the R-chain noobs should be involved with. I don't think it's worth your time right now to do this.
Well,
so do you want to demo? You want to demo something to me? You want to show us some of your stuff?
well, if you're familiar with the basic gist of the factory registry, pretty much the only thing that's magical about it is there's a uint mapping, so you don't need to know where all your addresses are. You just go through the brands, which is 0 through the length of how many brands there are. And then each one of those has a token, which is 0 through how many tokens that factory has put out. And so there's not a whole lot of memorization of where each contract is. It's just a matter of using that one main top level to do all your organization. I can show it to you a second. It's right now, it's all just command line Web3 perusing through it, but it's interesting.
Yeah, we'd like to see. Yeah, you can give us a quick little demo. That would be great.
I'll show you.
A lot of people will be interested in doing Web3 command line stuff.
Yeah, well, a lot of people might not use parity, and we're also using our own Ethereum blockchain called Proof of Authority. Right now, I'm on Realmcoin, my buddy's blockchain. He's building the game, and I'm actually setting up the factory registry for him to use in his game right now. So that's what we're running right now. He's actually on the other side of the table, but I'll be demonstrating the factory registry that I just put up. It's not done. It's 0.7.3 right now. So there's even bugs right now. So anyway, I'll show you what we got. Okay, quit it. Stop yelling at each other, puppies. All right. How do I share my screen?
It's been a while.
How do I share my screen again?
Hover the middle, hover near the bottom, and it's right in the middle.
Right there, yeah. Okay. So let's All right, yeah. Probably gonna just. Do I have one open? Oh, it's down here. Okay. Hey, dogs. Crypto, stop. Am I frozen?
I forget, is Crypto a dog or a cat?
Crypto's a dog and he's mean. He acts like Bitcoin. All right. Hold on. Let me.
So do you have a lot of rocks?
Huh? No, I have two little Chihuahua dogs.
No, I was asking about the crypto. Do you have a lot of rocks?
All right. So here we go. Oh, there it is. Okay. That was covering it. I'm going to go back to parity. Come on.
Okay, where is it? See your browser. Parity tab. And this is like the console for parity.
Yeah, this is the browser, an Ethereum browser. It's parity. It's parity the Ethereum browser.
I thought parity was an Ethereum.
It's a number of things, but it's mainly a really advanced browser. Like it doesn't run Geth. It runs a different EVM made out of Rust instead of Go.
I thought you can run Geth with parity though, can't you?
Yeah, parity is just a browser still. So yeah, you could run Geth and then open this instead of Mist. All right, so right now this is the token factory. And
I thought parity is a node, right? I mean, that's really confusing. Parity nodes are what people run now, isn't it?
The Kovan test network, a lot of people are running parity right now because of the Kovan test network. The Ropsten test network was attacked, and the first and quickest response to get a working test network was already being used, and it was called Kovan, and it was a joint effort between like Melonport, F-Core, Consensus, and a number of the other, Argon, a number of the other development teams, like 12 or 13 of them. They were doing a proof of authority blockchain, which is something that's possible with parity and not with Geth. So people have to use parity to go ahead and use Kovan.
Well, when we had the denial of service attack, everybody had to switch to parity at that time.
Exactly. Yeah, to use the Kovan network, pretty much, was the only reason. And I stuck with the Kovan network until I made my own POA. So right now we're working on making applications that pay no gas for the core functionality, thanks to the POA.
Sweet.
Yeah. So the core functionality won't require gas.
So this might be useful for digital life cooperative.
Yeah. Well. Anytime we fail to require gas, it's going to be considered, because that opens up the potential for denial of service. Pretty much Ropsten was DOS not because of the no gas issue, but the nothing at stake issue. They pretty much use free gas.
Yeah.
So what POA does, what I believe F-Core does, I don't know who set it up, but they have you put some real Ether over to a contract on real Ethereum, and you register your phone number and email address for them. And then over on Kovan network, at that address, the faucet gives you test Ether every day. So that's how they work. It was really interesting. I really loved the way that they did it. And from there, I just started dabbling in with the differences between parity and other things, and the differences between POA blockchain and a proof of work blockchain. And I'll probably be on parity for the next 3 months. I really love it. I keep looking into new things.
What is POA stand for again?
It's proof of authority. It's pretty much a number of addresses are hard coded into the Genesis block as being the only allowed authorities miners, so to speak. So here's what we got. This is a token factory. I'm going to execute a function from the token factory. I've been doing. Come on. Oops. I don't want to do years. I'll do guild leader. All right, so I'm going to deploy, but you'll see there's a number of other functions such as drain. I can drain the factory account since I'm the owner, or I can give ownership of the registry away. But right now I'm going to deploy a certain token. Let's say I want to deploy 100. How about 100,000? Big, right? And these are going to be B tokens, and I'll call them Bumblebee. This particular factory requires 1 Ether, so we're just going to send that.
That's an expensive contract.
Yeah, it is. It's very expensive. The fee can be changed. And that's going to be mined. It shouldn't take too long to be minted, mined, whatever you want to call it. All right. Come on.
Tim.
I really want to make this faster.
Well, while it's happening,
Yep.
I can give you a quick demo of uport.me.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
That's what I forgot.
Yeah.
Show you.
Yeah, actually, one of my tabs that's open right now is the Uport screen that wants me to take a snapshot of my QR code.
So
and I've been keeping it open to try to find the app somewhere.
You just sign up for the alpha here, and
Okay.
you know they're asking for a fair amount of information, but which we won't go through now.
That's right. I'll give them everything the CIA has already.
Yeah, and then you get on the developer page. Okay, they start out with an example of
How to use it.
of a basic login is 1 line of code. Okay. And so you fetch viewport, you comes up the thing here, and let me. I'm going to restart the app to make sure it's copacetic. So I run viewport, and it comes up like a camera. I don't know if you can see here.
Yeah.
Just
yeah. It's the blue screen.
and when it sees the QR code, it's giving me a notice here. At Viewport developer site, request your credentials, and it lists a name, so I can send it or not. And I also can keep identities on the phone. As soon as I send it, it went away. And what it was doing here was giving my name and picture. But
Really?
as far as I see, it didn't ask for my picture. And it didn't display my name. So I don't know if it's working or not. at this point. But I guess I'll bug these guys because it was working fine over in the IOW. But before that, I signed up, and it was working fine. And then they have another example where you could, which is just like setting a status in a silly sort of way, which just verifies your it logs you in, whatever. But when it works, it's awesome. Okay, did we finish deploying?
Yeah, more than likely. Let's go over here. There's my... Close that up. Hold on, I'm going to give myself some RAM. I'm closing up a few more of these tabs. I'm on my laptop.
So I wish I could remember those guys I talked to. They sounded like...
Were they the consensus guys?
Yeah.
I know they're involved with consensus, just not sure how deeply.
Yeah, I guess it's not clear what how they're employed, but it seems like one or two guys are working on MetaMask and one or two guys are working on Uber. It seems like a really underfunded effort to build important of our infrastructure here. I've I got the feeling more people get involved in open source development of these things. And perhaps we can reward them.
Soon we'll be able to track the input of the open source projects. You know what I mean? I think that will allow people to really sink their teeth into it a little better. Okay, so here we are with Token Factory. So pretty much the magic here is that the registry always resides at the same address. So our app interface can always just watch that one address, which is the registry, and thanks to knowing that one address, can go through the registry and find all the brands, which are all these different factories. So this is one of those factories, and pretty much the same way we're getting the number 5 here. Whoops, sorry. We want the 5th one, which is actually the number 4. The same way we're getting the number 4 here. Hurry up. This is actually that B token. And I can show you that by copying this coin. And normally the DApp will do this, but we'll just go make a quick token DApp to go watch this. So we're going to watch this token at that address. And it's a B token. Right? Come on. We're going to add that contract. And now we have, where is it? B token right here. Okay. The balance of this guy should be about 100,000. Yes, it is. So you can see that it's just a token factory that has a uint assigned to it, so you can just go from 0 to however many tokens there are to find all your tokens. That's all it is. And then there's a structure above that that allows you to have all kinds of different brand names of tokens. Because the use case here is I want to have one of the brand names, which is trustless tokens, and other people might want to have other types of tokens, which may or may not be trustless, etc. So that's token. What else could I show you? Account by owner. Yeah, and this is not completely done yet because right now this base is hard coded in. You can't change the base. Right now, what I wanted, right now this get by owner, it gives you like owner address. So I'm going to put guild leader in there. I've made a few tokens.
What was the command line you want to show us?
Oh, yeah, I can go through that a little bit. Let's do that. All right, for that, I'm going to copy this, the address of the token factory, and we're going to go over to the Web3 a little bit. Okay. The factory. Okay, so that's the token factory address. Sorry. This is the fact add equals that.
Now this is Bash? What is this?
No, this is Web3.
Oh, this is the Web3 interface.
Yep. Yeah, it's like when you're in the Giveth console, but it's actually going to a different server though. That's the only difference. Yeah, yeah. So that's fact add, and this will be fact ABI equals this. So boom, that's the factory ABI. So now we're going to go Web3.
Where did you get the ABI?
I'll show you. Contract. This is what I'm doing right here. Oh, whoops. What I want to do is fact contract equals. So I made the ABI and the address of var, and now I'm going to make the actual contract of var, which includes both of those. So Web3 F contract, fact ABI is. Wait, is it as or is as? Thank you. At. I just had a mind fart for a second there. At fact address. All right, so this is telling it that the contract is this ABI at that address. Okay? And then, oh, fact address is not defined. What did I define it as? Fact add. All right, change that. Fact add. Nope, that's good. So fact contract. And now we get the functions like get. We like the number 4 we just did. Get 4. What? Fact contract get. Why isn't this working? No, I called it token, I think. Oh, I'm bumping into that same error message. All right, so this is one of the error messages I've been bumping into lately, Jim. And I think it has to do with promises, the one that says that doesn't support asynchronous methods. And I think this is one of my JavaScript, like my inability to understand JavaScript 100% at this stage. So long story short, call the entire thing.
I just try to replace the word get they call. So you're not calling it. So you're not using it.
Call the entire command.
Yes, yeah, so replace the word get that you just used for that.
I don't have get in there anymore. That didn't work.
Get, and then inside that get was 4.
It's token call, or sorry, it's right now fact contract dot token 0.
Dot token. So try dot token dot call 0. Click all for.
Just call. call 1. The token call 0.
That stops with the music.
Crazy. Yeah, this is one of the errors I've been coming across. You saw how it worked in the UI, but it doesn't work when I Web3 call it. That's why I actually have this open already, because I've been bumping into that this morning. But you see where I'm going with that. I have it working in Node.js. I just don't have it working raw.
Yeah.
I mean,
Have you Googled that error?
I have, but
No.
I'm actually surprised. This is the first time it's given me a MetaMask error, because usually it gives me the parity signer. But I will Google that error, since you know what, that was a little new. That was new. Cool. But I'm going to stop sharing. That's about the end of it. Pretty much the idea is to have a namespace registry for not just tokens, but all kinds of factories.
Yeah. Well, this is good to get a slight introduction to the browser.
I love parity. No, it's okay. That was like a hair or a web something. I love parity. Actually, let me share my screen again. You're not going to get the full feeling of it, because we're on this private chain and it doesn't have all the stuff that parity would love us to have. So let's go back. Yep, it is. That's exactly. Oh, I can call this. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. Yes, and that's what resulted in that problem.
Yeah, I have a script in this one. It's on the script one.
Cool. All right. Sorry about that. Just wanted to Google that before I got rid of it off my clipboard. So parity, shut parity. So yeah, this is a brief introduction. So it has a home page. There's also I don't know if you can see up here, if this is part of my share, but right here is parity Ethereum integration. Do you see that? That's one of my extensions. And they, the first time you log into this parity, they invite you to go download their extension. And when you're browsing the regular internet with Chrome, this is a Chrome, but I think it works in MetaMask, Firefox also. But when you're browsing the regular internet with Chrome, or with this extension, I should say, and you come across, say, Giveth.psdev.io, like it says right here, it'll actually memorize all those dApps that you come across on the internet. And when you open parity, it'll be like, yeah, here's the dApps you recently went through. It's pretty cool, because I was browsing regular internet and I was like, oh, I can't remember where that psdev one, the Giveth one was. And then I opened parity later and I'm like, oh, it's right there. I can't believe it saved it. It does a lot of things like that you wouldn't even know. For instance, when you go to deploy a contract, let's say we're going to deploy, okay, look at this. This is, sorry, I'm going to back up. So this is the contracts tab. I just skipped 4 tabs because this is one's my favorite. So like the contract viewer is great. But here we go. We can watch a contract. And I showed you how quickly I could watch a token not long ago. Literally just, you don't have to know the ABI. Come on, hurry up. There we go. You don't have to know the ABI of a token. You can just click that box, you know. In the future, Jim, you don't have to know the ABI of a DiviDAO token, you know, just put that radio button right here, boom, right? So we can watch a token or any one of these contracts pretty easily, the same way you'd be able to add them in Mist.
Now, wouldn't you need the ABI if the contract source wasn't defined?
Yeah, you would still need it if it wasn't a standard ABI.
Right. Yeah. Well, you have to register the ABI with the contract, right?
Well, I've just been sticking them like here. I'll go over here. Oh, that's processes. That's the natspec. Like, yeah. All right, so, oh, right here. That's why. Hurry up. Oh, there we go. It's finally loading. No, I'm not responsive. Oh, force quit. There we go. That'll help. Oh, wow. Sorry about this latency. Holy moly.
Sounds like you're killing your laptop.
Yeah.
Looks like. Now this parity plugin is only for Chrome.
I don't believe it's fully done yet, but there's a spec for building extensions that work for both Chrome and Firefox, and they're trying to navigate towards that. I'm not so sure if it's fully done yet, but they're trying to make their extension workable on both.
Well, apparently Firefox takes a very long time to localize an app. And Newport's been waiting, or MetaMask has been waiting for a long time.
Okay. Well, I've been following the Brave browser myself. That's the one I hope to move to, and that's the one I'm hoping they get Firefox. I believe it's Firefox anyway. Extensions working for Firefox. I'm pretty sure the Brave browser is based on the Firefox.
Yeah, I think so.
The Brave browser team is the old Mozilla Foundation team and is led by the guy that invented JavaScript.
Ah.
Their token goes live on the 30th. It's called the Basic Attention Token, or the BAT. All right, so I'm still sharing my screen here. Great. And it looks like, all right, this works now. Good. All right, so let's go over to, okay, so basically this is the draw out of what our application does. We can forge tokens and we can watch tokens with one wallet. Yeah.
Sweet.
So let's go over to our branch right now is 7.3. So right here, what was I showing you? Why am I here? I'm showing you something important. I'll go back to parity. It'll jog my memory, I think. Maybe that wasn't it. Maybe I wanted to show you a deployment. All right, so right here, the deploy button. All right, so let's say all I have is the ABI. Let's say you don't want to share your source code, but you want to let people deploy your code, right? So that becomes, all right, I'm going to give you all right. So the contract name doesn't matter. Contract description also doesn't matter. Sending it from, yes. Okay, so the ABI is still important, and this right here is the compiled code of the contract. So you can give somebody the data to put a contract up without knowing the source code, just so you know, by giving them the compiled code. My friend here probably could decompile all your code for you, though. But anyway.
So this is pretty much like my Ether wallet deployment contract.
Yeah, it does that same thing. Yes, yeah, exactly. So here's the best part, Jim. You're gonna love this part, the develop button. This is why I skipped over here. This is all I wanted to show you. I took it slow. So this develop button brings us to, look, we can make a new contract. We can load old contracts. Let's load. Yep, there's one from F-Core. Come on, load already. Takes forever to, so it comes with these snippets, which are your consensus build. Remember the consensus human standard token? So it comes with that, but it also lets you keep a whole host of local stuff. Like I've got a GitHub hint. That's a great one. Bounty. We can make a bounty for a contract. Let's do that. Load. And so what happens is this is F-Core's bounty contract right here. And I mean, you don't even have to go to GitHub anymore. You can just save your contracts right in Parity. And whenever you want to deploy one of those type of contracts, just load it up, you know, pick what you want. I guess that one only has one. Press deploy, and you're pretty much golden. You know what I mean? So let's cancel that.
Conversion thing between Python and JavaScript. When you're putting the ABI in Python, you have to go down through from JavaScript to false to capitals, which is the first letters. Python won't pick it up.
That's, I wouldn't even think of that. Yeah. All right. So this, if you're on mainnet or Kovan, the applications that come with Parity will work. Right now, these applications don't work. In fact, you press this button and there's a bunch of applications that aren't even on, like Transaction Viewer. And if you were on mainnet, you'd be able to see even more of them that were registered on mainnet with a thing called a DApp registry. And on Kovan, there's also a DApp registry that you can register with. And it'll actually show up in the application section here under this tab. It's wicked awesome. You can also register your own dApps that you're building with it. And something I haven't quite tackled is trying to figure out how to get Parity to package your dApps with their software. That I haven't done yet. But you can get your software to look at, you can get your browser to look at your local software, though, that you've been working on. This tab right here is an address book. It'll automatically remember all addresses that you send to or interact with if you want to tag them with something. And these are all the accounts. Right now we're operating a shared server, so everyone's using the same, like some people are these accounts and some people are these other accounts, and some people are vulgar accounts apparently. So long story short, we're using security by password is what we're doing. We're all sharing our JSONs, but we're using security by password. And that's just the people that develop here at the home office. The hackerspace. I've been calling it the hackerspace lately.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much a good little Parity overview. Some things don't work, some things do work, some things are just awesome. And I know that Giveth has updated some stuff recently, and I just haven't looked at Giveth in months because Parity has just consumed all my attention. The proof of authority blockchain is really interesting for me. If you, like, for some projects, there's no reason to believe that, well, especially projects where your tokens aren't meant to have monetary value, there's no reason to believe that people are going to want to be mining for a token that might not have monetary value. So pretty much what the POA thing lets you do is just define that series of people that do think it's going to have value and trust that they will continue to add mining capacity to the network in a valuable way rather than in a destructive way. But and I've been researching proof of progress lately, which pretty much has to do with staking and a DAO construct that allows people to vote on whether people, you know, should level up or level down. I don't know if you remember that, the leveling abilities, skills and abilities. So it's skills and ability levels is what it is. So if you are interested in something, you'd be flagged as interested. And then later on, you could move up to level 1 if those level 1 people thought you were better than just interested and knows a little bit, you know. Anyway, each class would define within themselves what that class actually means as far as a level and what leveling up to the next level would actually mean. And then that class would have kind of a definition for leveling up to the next level and vote about whether that person belongs to, should level, or maybe even should be what do you call that?
Demoted.
Demoted, yeah, should level up or be demoted. Yes.
So I just did install on the Parity browser for Windows.
Jim, I know the ICO for Oregon is done. I strongly suggest checking out their, you don't even have to sync a blockchain. It uses like the Infura as its back.
Okay, I couldn't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it's just Oregon, Aragon. I think it's like a Greek or a Roman god or something like that. But developers of Oregon are somewhat related to the
Spell it again.
Well, Giveth, I mean, project.
How do you spell Aragon again?
Aragon.
Dot what?
Oh, I don't know what the URL is.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I just type ICO at the end of everything and it finds the right one now.
ICO?
It filters it out. Yeah, I type, it doesn't, that's how it filters out the cryptocurrency one is I type ICO. Even if it didn't have an ICO, it'll still come to the top of Google.
Aragon makes millions in minutes, huh? You looked at Byteball at all?
I have. I actually, yeah, I've looked at Byteball. I'm still very involved with Augur as well. Augur, you know, what I'm looking for out of Augur, I still haven't seen, though, Jim. And that's not just, you know, token valuation either. What I'm looking for out of Augur is I want them to come out with a statement that clarifies the legality of American citizens that hold Augur. If you know where I'm going with that, you know what I mean? Like, are you allowed to represent the you know, the end score of the Red Sox game? Are you allowed to report the end score of the Red Sox game if you're gonna earn some Augur, knowing that that number is going to be used for gambling purposes? Are you allowed to do that? You know what I mean? Like, I wonder, are you allowed to do those kind of reportings knowing that it's a mechanism for gambling construct? It seems like a gray area or even a black area to me, to be honest with you. So I wonder. So right now, I would not even put in one report until I knew that. I would just sell and buy tokens and not be a reporter. You know? or get involved with a reporting pool and make sure the reporter lived in the country where it was legal. You know, like outsource it. But anyway, just something that I worry about is like Gnosis is another one. Gnosis is from New York. And, you know, like, what if you were a reporter for Gnosis? So, anyway, I wish that with their millions of dollars that they would come out with some kind of, a little bit of a clarification on the legalities of gambling in America and being a gambling provider, pretty much. Like, in my opinion, Augur will probably be one of the hugest casinos everywhere, ever, if you think about it. It'll pretty much be a casino.
Yeah. I have a feeling that people aren't going to be concerned. They're going to do it, and it's going to be unenforceable. The laws will be unenforceable.
That's a good point. It'll be unstoppable.
You know, I mean, how could you, you know, and policing it is going to be a problem, and Augur could have a problem, but it is sort of autonomous, isn't it?
Yeah, like Augur the company might have an issue or two. Well, I think they've been good at telling us how they're going to keep their toes dry, to be honest with you. They've been really good at telling us how they're not going to be crossing any of those lines. But I want to know about the reporters is really what I want to know. They're like, yeah, we're not going to cross lines because we never made a market. We never even create a market. We're just making the tools to create markets. We don't even create markets. That's how we're going to stay out of it. You know, and I'm like, yeah, but we're going to be doing stuff. That doesn't apply to us. Or not, as the case may be.
So I'm making an account for parity. I remember where I am. Yeah, I shouldn't be doing two things at once here. But I'm excited to buy it and play with it, as well as
so two interesting, I can't say too much longer. Two interesting pipe dream goals that aren't too far off that I've been working on is one is a token that has 4 different ways to get issued. 3 different ways to get issued. And the reason I want to do that is because I'm thinking of a blockchain where there's 3 different ways to mine the coins. And, you know, a third of the blockchain is proof of work mining. A third of the blockchain would be the proof of authorities who have the free gas for operating the core contracts. And a third of it would be a DAO that bought in by crowd sale. So it'd be authority, like main creators, founders. Crowd sale would be funders, and then the miners would be the enforcers of the network, the actual blockchain miners, the proof of work, the workers. Anyway, so right now they have what's called Smart Pool. Have you heard of Smart Pool? It's interesting. Smart Pool, they're testing it on the Ropsten Revival. I haven't checked it out. I've checked out the contracts and I've tried it on Kovan, and it's interesting, but on Kovan it doesn't work the way it's intended, mainly because you don't mine on Kovan unless you're an authority. And so Smart Pool was not an authority, but Smart Pool was able to get a bunch of Kovan Ether and stick it into the pool so we could test the pool. So long story short, I'll digress. So the contract actually runs the mining pool for, say, Ethereum miners. It does that by using Z-snarks. It does it through saying, you know, you're sending like, you know, say tens of thousands of solutions per second. It will pick out like 30 of those solutions and make sure they're correct. Like Ethereum, it would be really expensive to try to check all the solutions, also really slow. So instead of just checking like a random set of your solution, you know, array to make sure they're right, and that's the Z-snark to say, yeah, they must all be right if this random set was right each time. It's really interesting. So the smart pool, if it was put into the Genesis block, and that's how a third of the tokens got minted, that would be a really great way to do that. Because you can stick contracts right in the Genesis block.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
These stocks are the content of the block.
Z-snark is basically a game mechanism that says, I'm going to figure out a way to know if you know,
Right.
without having to tell me the answer. So,
Right. So
like
I know.
yeah.
That's part of the. I can't remember the name of the blockchain, but I mean, it's ideal for sharing personal information or private information that, or proof of a corroboration. Okay, that something's been verified, like I'm over 21 years old or I'm a U.S. citizen, without revealing personal information about me. I was just wondering if the context of the Z-snarks you're using here, which is a great thing. I mean, if you're going to do a proof of work, you might as well do some useful work.
Yeah, because I mean, if it wasn't being checked to a certain amount, then there's no reason to submit useful work. So it just takes that's their Z-snark, is they check like a random set out of all of them. The Alice and Bob Z-snark definition in Wikipedia goes something like Bob, like there's a U-shaped tunnel with the entrance and the exit right where Bob's standing, and Bob sends Alice down the right side of the tunnel, and in the middle is a locked door that only opens by password, and Bob hollers down the tunnel, come out the left side, and she comes out the left side, or come out the right side, and she comes out the right side. So she does this 8 times in a row, and she does it correctly every time. Not to mention she gets through that door somehow. So he can reasonably know she knew the password, even though she never told him the password. So it's not really a thing. It's just a way of knowing something. So there's a bunch of different ways of knowing something. Like it's not quite pseudonymous. It's a step away from pseudonymous, is all it is. Zcash works on the principle that only a certain amount of addresses are acceptable addresses. And so, and it's based on some really long, big prime number. And if anybody knew that really long, big prime number, then they could screw the whole blockchain. So long story short, every address is based on that, let's call it, for lack of a better word, a private key, a really private key, like a top level God private key for the whole blockchain.
Scary.
Yeah. So Zcash pretty much figured out a way to get rid of that private key before it was used. I mean, before it was known by any human. And so that was their method for doing a Z-snark without anybody knowing what they call the toxic waste, which is that big long key that could break the entire blockchain. So if Vitalik's trying to figure out a way to do it with Ethereum, he keeps writing small, short posts about it anyway.
Yeah, that's supposed to be in the next release.
Is it really?
Yeah, what do they call it? I forget what they call the new release. I don't know why I keep forgetting it. I'm getting seen. But they haven't really announced the date for it yet.
Metropolis?
Yeah, Metropolis. But you know, it has some pretty ambitious goals for that. It's also supposed to include proof of stake, which they haven't really finished Casper.
Yeah, no, I know. I know. I keep hearing that they're convinced they can do it. I'm sorry, but you say that so many times. I'm convinced that you're not convinced.
Yeah, well, I'm convinced it can be done too. But the thing is that you have to it's essentially an impossible problem. Okay, I mean, it's proven mathematically that if you have one malfunctioning process, that you're not guaranteed to reach any consensus. That's the what do they call it? I've got a brain fart again. I can't remember the name of the proof, but any attempt is that they're making is ultimately going to fail because of that theorem, and you have to have a mechanism that tolerates a failure. Okay, if you have a mechanism to tolerate a failure, then you're good. If you don't have that mechanism, it's only a matter of how hard it is or how improbable it is. And what they've done with Casper is they've made it so highly improbable that you could have a failure that it's not worth considering. It's sort of like you can make a hash of something and the probability of getting the same hash from two different things is so low that you don't have to consider it. But it can't happen. And you have to be
yeah, Google just broke SHA-1 within less than 28 days.
yeah.
SHA-3 is safe, which is what Ethereum private keys are based on.
Well, I think we're going to have to put trust back in these trustless systems, in my view. Okay, so I'm going to follow the more proof of trust direction than proof of stake or proof of work or anything else.
Yeah, that's why one of my things that is on my back burner, but I keep touching on it, is the profile. I want a managed account profile with a staking mechanism inside the damn thing. And it would take them forever to get their tokens out. So the higher it is, the more you can be guaranteed that they're willing to, stay behind that profile pretty much. It's definitely not perfect, but and nothing will be, because I keep bumping up against the fact that no matter what, once it becomes open source software, somebody else can make a contract that manages that open source software. So even if you make a not tradable account or a not tradable token, somebody's just going to make a tradable account to hold your not tradable token. Right? It doesn't. They're just going to be one step around you. Yeah, once you get open source, exactly. So, like arguing about that is. So you go ahead, Jim. Yeah.
It's called FLP impossibility. That's the proof that you can't have, with one faulty processor, you can't have a consensus. You know, you're not guaranteed it.
Do you mean processor by miner? That guy processing the blocks?
Well, you know, this is process in the abstract. Okay, you have
But
you have asynchronous
So is
processes, which in this case would be miners. You know, in the case of a blockchain, would be miners. But if we have one faulty process, okay, you can't prove that it can't be to that a consensus can be reached, which is an interesting effect. You know, if I just wanted to mention the name because I couldn't remember it. FLP impossibility.
cool.
Impossibility of distributed consensus with one faulty process.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to read that.
Yeah. So I really thank you for, you know, introducing us to parity and showing us the stuff. And I know you have to go, otherwise I would ask you to show us a little bit more of the development environment. It seemed like you got a pretty good development environment with parity. It had solidity development, and does it have JavaScript development also?
Yeah, that Web3 app is also JavaScript console. Yeah.
So we can develop our JavaScript and our contracts using the parity browser. Sweet. I got it installed now. I'm just in the process of setting up an account and giving it a little spin.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you copy your 12-word mnemonic. Parity only uses the 12-word mnemonic. So, warning, your MetaMask and parity will not. I'm sure there's ways of getting the same address on both of them. But MetaMask and parity, even if you use the same private key, come up with different public keys because they hash them a different amount of times. Parity hashes it 10,240 times, and I wish I could figure out how many times MetaMask hashes it. I can't find the number anywhere. And if I found it, I could just make parity do it the same amount of times, and then it would work. But I can't find MetaMask's address generator. I don't know how many times they go through that iteration.
Are you talking about having words?
Yeah, the 12-word mnemonic. Parity uses a different. They don't go by MetaMask standard. They go by BIP.
I should be able to add an account to parity that I have on my Ether wallet or anywhere else, right?
Yeah, you can add a JSON. You can import a JSON, or you can import the actual private key. But what I'm saying is if you go try to take your 12 words from MetaMask and paste it into parity, it won't work. That's all I'm saying. Because when you use your 12-word, it iterates through a different amount of times.
Right. Yeah, I would expect that. Otherwise,
32, 39.
You know, otherwise, everything would be compromised if one thing was compromised.
Well, I'm trying to figure out a way to make them both work with, you know, like I said, if I figure out the amount of iterations to make them both iterations the same amount of time, it should come out with the same public key in the end. Sorry. Okay. Okay, I might have confused you actually. It's not that it comes out with a different public key only. The iteration that it stops at also determines your private key. You know what I mean? Like, so if you go to MetaMask, right, Jim, and you have your 12 word in, if you press the plus button to make a new account on MetaMask, it'll just iterate your other private key one more time. It'll just SHA-3 it one more time and give you another account. You know what I mean? So in parity, it's going 10,240. Let's say MetaMask, it starts at 1. The next time you touch it, it'll iterate to number 2. And then you might have to touch it 10,240 times to get to where parity's at. But I'm not sure of the number. You know what I mean? Like, it comes out with a private key, and your 12 word can actually make an infinite amount of private keys. It's just a matter of which iteration do you stop on for my private key. I don't know. I only know that because my buddy uses Python to make the private keys. And then public keys from there. Yeah.
Well, it's been really informative, and I'm so glad you were able to join us today. And hopefully, you know, we can find some common goal that we want to work on, or that we want to do turnover or whatever to the study group, or
To be honest with you, we're completely enveloped in the development aspects. Like, I've had the business idea half baked for years now, and trying to figure out another business idea was too much for me with Divvy now. But all the stuff I'm working on has been no different than before. I know it's the same stuff we're all working on. I realize that. But I'm actually just tackling it a different way. I'm tackling it in a different way that nobody sees right now. And when I introduce it, I hope that by introducing it, then people will see its functionality. I'm trying to make a taxonomy of tokens, pretty much. So.
interesting. Awesome, man.
Cool. I can't wait to see you again. Thanks for inviting me over. I saw your bubble show up, and I had like 30 tabs open. I had Slack, Gitter, all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, man, that could have been any one of those bubbles. I had to look through all the tabs that way because it went so quick. I'm like, oh, that's Jim. I got to go find what he said. So yeah, good to see you, Jim, and you have a good one.